Welcome to Sports Landscaping by Daniel. These are the impact of policies in sport that may come up throughout the presentation, which may also link into the key policies of the sports. These are the key policy changes in sports. There are 10 of them that we will be going through. Them being the Wolfenden Report, the Sports Council, Labour's White Papers, John Major's National Lottery, Raising the Game, creation of the Department Culture, Media and Sport, the Game Plan, Playing to Win, Olympic Legacy and Sports Future. The first one that we'll be starting off with is the Wolfenden Report in 1960. The Wolfenden Report is the report that was put in order around 1960. It's one of the first reports to pave the way for what sport is in England today. It looked at improving many things, such as improving facilities, and looked at sport being important as a whole. Improving these facilities could be improving and bringing in new gym equipment. They also looked at improving grassroots sports as a whole. The next sports policy change that we'll be looking at is the Sports Council in 1970, which had significantly improved and supported the sports industry in the UK in the year 1970. This provided greater participation around the UK. They did this by creating the Sport for All campaign, which looked at improving physical activities in the UK. This initiative looked to bring inclusion and accessibility in sport all round. Now on to Labour's White Paper. It was made back in 1975, where they were looking to try and improve sport in the UK, where they decided to use a more structured and supportive approach to improve sport in the UK, in which they started to focus on the grassroots sports part of the game, whilst focusing on the elite game. Labour's White Paper strongly links to the Sport Council back in 1970. Moving on to John Major's National Lottery. Back in 1994, the Prime Minister introduced the National Lottery, which had a financial difference for sport when it was announced. Since it was introduced, it has helped provide funds to grassroots and elite performers. This could be providing any new equipment that they may need, or funding athletes to train for the competitions, such as training for the Olympics. Moving on to Raising the Game. Like the Labour's White Paper in 1975, the Raising the Game initiative looked to bring a more structured and supportive environment for sport. Again, this looks to bring in inclusion and accessibility in sport. They did this by improving physical activity and education in schools. It also looked to improve the sports community. This also helped the UK by creating and identifying more elite talents within the UK back in 1995. Moving on to the DCMS, Development for Culture, Media and Sport. Like many initiatives before it, the DCMS looked to provide an improved structure to the sport. They did this by increasing the budget and promoting the sporting events that were going on. Again, they also increased the support to grassroots games. This can link to the Labour's White Paper or the Sports Council in the 1970s. They are also looked at to provide funding to organisations such as Sport England and UK Sport. Now the Game Plan initiative was back in 2002. This was a strategy that the UK introduced. This plan was to get more inclusive and health-focused strategies a part of the UK for all of the people. Like some of the other strategies, it looked at increasing activity rates around the UK. This was also put in place, and a joint effort between the DCMS and the Prime Minister's Strategy Unit. Now for Playing to Win. Playing to Win was introduced in 2008 to create more competitive and inclusive sport culture in the UK. This would end up helping the whole pyramid of sport in the UK. This had the national governing bodies that had enhanced support on this for sports. Also, by this point, the UK was getting ready to host the 2012 Olympics. On to the Olympic legacy in 2012. This initiative had a lasting effect on the whole of UK sports. This is due to the whole of the UK being together during the Olympics, which is due to the community engagement being at an all-time high in the UK. With the Olympics taking place in England, the community was higher than ever before, having people watch and take part in Olympic sports while they were going on. With it taking place in England, improving the facilities such as getting new equipment for the Olympics and pool facilities, improving on them. Now on to Sporting Future in 2015. Sport Future, like most of these initiatives, looked at improving the participation throughout the UK. It looked at improving the UK in facilities and making them healthier and fitter people. It also looked at helping to improve physical and mental well-being, which by then was a big thing for UK sport, as we were finding out just how important mental well-being was. Now moving on to significant priority shifts. First of these, talent identification, which doesn't just link to football, it links to all ranges of sports. Talent identification is used to find the next generation of sports participants. This may be funded by government or football clubs, depending where talent is being identified. If the government is funding it, this will most likely be used to try and find people who can horse ride, cycle or swim better, who are better than most. This is because these are the sports that the UK excel in the Olympics at. They could put out initiatives such as Discover Your Gold, which set out to find 14 to 25-year-olds who could take part and then even become part of the Olympic team if they were good enough. The next is international development through sports, focusing on Africa and Asia. For the development of international countries, they look at other ways they're able to help them. Introducing sport to the countries may help with improving them by giving them passions to follow and improving their physical activity. They also help with increasing education to the schools of these countries. There are many different initiatives for these, such as the IDS, International Development Through Sport, which they look at making young people's lives empowered through sports by going to these deprived areas and introducing sport to them and introducing their initiatives. Moving on to the Sport for All. This initiative, Sport for All, looked at introducing and ensuring that everybody, women, men and people of colour, take part in sport. This is to avoid any discrimination throughout sport which may have happened throughout the years, and help people get more physically active. Also, the LGBTQ community have been vocal over the past years by making their introduction into sport, as many of them got discriminated over the years. One of these movements being Rainbow Laces, which was a part of football. Whilst it was going on, captains would wear rainbow armbands, and sometimes people would even wear rainbow laces to show their support to the LGBTQ community. Moving on to facility development. This looks to helping and improving facilities of different sporting buildings. Could be stadiums or could be gyms. It could look at making it more modernised by improving the gym equipment or adding new facilities such as swimming pools or a new sports hall or a tennis court or saunas. They could also look at implementing disabled changing rooms or adding in elevators for disabled people so they could get up to the second floor, which could link this to Sport for All. They also have to ensure that all facilities are kept up to date, so no potential hazards may occur, and so that there is no accidental discrimination that occurs for disabled people. The last one of these is hosting events, looking at the London Olympics in 2012. When London hosted the Olympics, there were many positives to come out from it happening, such as improved facilities throughout London and the country to ensure that they were well kept, up to date, and giving them new equipment. This would improve the UK all round, as it would set a marker for all facilities in the future for the UK. Also, whilst it was on, there was a lot of community interactions as everyone was together, and it also improved community activity whilst they were taking part due to the great exposure to different sports that were happening at the Olympics. Now we're moving on to organisations. Sport England and UK Sport. These are together because they are fairly similar. Sport England and UK Sport are organisations that look to help throughout the whole of the UK. However, Sport England focuses on helping and bringing eyes to the grassroots game throughout of England, compared to UK Sport that ensure aid to the elite games. Sports England is an organisation that is sponsored by the DCMS. They look to provide and promote sports in communities around England. They distribute the money that they are given from the government and the National Lottery. They use this to give and spread it throughout the country to grassroots sports to help with participation by encouraging them to take part. The next one is the Department for Culture, Media and Sport. This organisation is part of the government, which is looked at to distribute funds to other organisations such as both Sport England and UK Sport. They distribute these funds on a basis of what their current priorities are. This could be between Rainbow Laces or Black Lives Matter. This is to help reduce discrimination throughout sports. These funds can also be used by the council to help reduce crime in the area by creating and putting on clubs for these people. They are also in charge of putting in bids for huge sports events such as the Euros, World Cup, and even the 2012 Olympics when we hosted it, and ensuring that there are suitable facilities for these events to take place, such as stadiums or swimming pools for Olympics. The last one of these are local authorities. Places like Derby, Sheffield and Chesterfield all have councils and local authorities to help and guide them. They may help with developing and putting on sports within the local area, such as Bolsover District Council with some football clubs and Extreme Wheels. They may put these clubs on for the elderly or the young to help them increase their physical activity rate, and even potentially to stop misbehaviour around the neighbourhood. However, for these authorities, their focus isn't just on sport. Compared to organisations such as Sport England and the DCMS, the local authorities have to ensure that the town and city is safe, whilst coming up with plans to improve local activity. Moving on to partnerships. Partnerships in sports are essential for companies to improve their image and likelihood to be seen by more people and being more effective. Having sponsorships / partnerships as a sporting company or business company will help bring more money for both sides, in which it will aid them. There are advantages and disadvantages to having partnerships with athletes. Some positives are the fact that they bring more eyes to the company, especially if it's on an athlete that are highly watched in a highly watched sport such as football, as Puma, Adidas and Nike sponsor many players throughout football and even other sports, which will improve their image as people see them using the brand. However, there are some negatives, such as if athletes do something bad, such as assaulting somebody or even being drunk in public, won't put the best image on the company and may put it in a bad light, such as Tiger Woods, as he lost his sponsorship / partnerships with Gillette after there were reports of him having another relationship with another woman. And these are some of the websites / references that I used throughout the video and presentation.